Hey, welcome back to another episode of From Corner to Corner podcast, episode 233.
I like that.
I forgot.
You're going to have to start doing that every show now.
I forgot to do it on the other one. Wes, Adam, Sean here, Darren over there on controls, and we've got with us our three-time defending champions, the Montgomery County Mock Trial team. We got head coach and four team members here. We got seniors Caden Gillum, senior Claire Donaldson, junior Emma Combs, and sophomore Charlie Thomas. Welcome, one and all. Thank you all for coming and celebrating. As you can see in the front of the table here, we've got
hardware.
We got hardware. We got gavels. We got trophies. We got this year's championship title. I'm just going to take a moment. I'm just going to read these accolades off, and then we'll get into the meat of the show here. Mock trial stats. We got the 2024 Kentucky State Champion, third state championship in a row, 4 state championship round appearances in the last 4 years, 2024 University of Kentucky Invitational Champ Program, 16 state championships in total, 2022 national champion, recent national record,
What?
8-1 against state champions.
What?
Defeated the national champion from South Korea last year.
What?
First and only.
Hold up. Can I stop you right there?
I got one sentence left to go.
Forget it. I'll forget it.
Go ahead.
How do you compete against somebody from South Korea? Like, do they speak in their native tongue and you all speak in yours?
No, it's an English-speaking school. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's outside of Seoul. I think it's a lot
Fair
of diplomat
question.
kids. Yeah.
Because she was talking before about cross-witnessing, right? Cross-examination, and she was talking about how somebody objected. If somebody's speaking a different language, how do you even know what they're saying?
It's a fair point.
And what's the last thing on the list?
First and only mock trial team from Kentucky to win the national championship title. And since 2001, the team has placed in the top 10 in the nation 5 times and finished in the top 20 11 times.
I mean, you said champion a lot.
I did say champion a lot. And in Montgomery County, we don't get to say champion a lot, but when it comes to our mock trial team,
A lot.
look, they forced their way onto the podcast.
Right.
I mean, because we could not deny them anymore.
Right.
They're
Pretty
like,
much.
look, how many have we got to win before we get to come on the podcast?
How many people have brought this much hardware to our show?
Nobody.
Right.
They had more.
Right.
They just didn't have enough people to bring it.
They want us to keep these so we can do some of our Southern Indiana
Indiana.
regional wrestling with.
Yeah. You know,
The judge.
Adam or Neil would actually absolutely love those.
Yeah. You're
So-
missing out, Neil.
Yeah. He had prior arrangement with the kiddos tonight. So, well,
Those do get to stay in the studio.
Ryan,
Come up above the dirt.
we've known each other for a long time. Me and your brother are really good friends, Adam. I was doing a little bit of research here. You've been the coach since 2017. A lot of success in the time that you've been here. Why don't you tell us a little bit, how did you get into this program? Obviously, you're a lawyer, so you're a perfect fit for that. But how did you manage to get into the mock trial part of it and then, build the success that you've got going? Because at this point, it's a dynasty.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. 233, is that what you said? Episode 233?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
pretty cool, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching for about 150 of those.
Well, that's all.
Oh, there we
I missed
go.
the first 80, but yeah.
Hey,
so I've
well,
come since.
That was all wrestling, right?
Right.
So if you're a wrestling fan, the first 80 episodes or
Yeah.
so was probably all wrestling.
Well,
So-
that's why I thought you'd like the belt.
Yeah,
That's why I
absolutely.
Make sure to take it out. Of
I
the
thought
case
that
and
was
bring
the fantasy football belt that we used to have when in the league that we played together. So
it. Yeah, hey, I used to play fantasy football with him.
yeah,
And do you guys play?
Did
with
you
him?
beat
we
him?
do. Now
No.
I left on top.
He was
I
in one
retired.
year.
I
He
couldn't-
came in 1 year. He won it. He left. Dropped the mic. And he was
What? That's come on.
I played 2 years actually.
So what you're saying is he cheated as much then as he does now.
That is
Right.
not true.
So we had a Royal Rumble in a video game
Oh,
to determine
yes.
who the number 1 pick was going to be.
Rigged.
Guess who won it?
Yeah.
Guess whose system he was using to draw the.
I'll just tell you this: it's on YouTube. If you want to go watch it, you will see
It
that
is on
was not-
YouTube.
It was not rigged.
the thing that Kuiper did to me back in fantasy football is he made me realize how little I actually knew about the NFL. So I came in with a list of my top draft picks, whatever, and I did it through magazines, from Walmart,
Yep.
from online websites, and I got the general consensus. These are the top picks. And he was sitting beside me. We were like at a Mongolian grill.
Yeah.
We sat at this big huge table. We rented it out for like 4 hours. And I remember he was sitting beside me, and I kind of looked over and I noticed he was looking at my list. And I was like, "Well, here, buddy, what do you think?" And he goes, No, that guy's hurt. This guy isn't even going to play this year. This guy's dead." And so, but he ended up laying the smack to us. He was good. But,
You darned him before it was even known as being darned.
Well, I mean, he's not lying. It was legitimate advice that I was giving him. Don't draft that guy. He's dead, literally.
So for context, the term Darren, I'm Darren. Neil, which is the one that's not here tonight, every time he has played with, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, he's played in just about every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If I draft before him, we can sit in separate buildings. And I guarantee you, I will draft his player right before he does.
Yep.
Like I'm reading his mind. Doesn't matter if I'm before or after. When it snakes around, I'm gonna. So we coined the term. He got Darren.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it stuck.
So, but there's a good transition to mock trial, because it's very similar in many ways to fantasy football, and I say that sort of tongue in cheek, but with Kuiper, I know he was very good because he was knowledgeable, but he also put the work in.
Mhm.
He actually kind of knew up front what he wanted to do. He had a game plan. He needed to fill these sort of slots. He needed to do that. But I don't care who you are in fantasy football, there's a tremendous amount of luck that's involved.
Very much.
All right. So that's the way mock trial works as well. So we put together the best team that we absolutely can. We try to fill the roles in the best way that we can. And they fill the roles, by the way, of attorneys and witnesses. That's it. Okay. You get 3 attorneys and 3 witnesses. The other team gets the same amount. And at that point, it's just a matter of putting on the best case that you can, telling the best story that you can. I got into it sort of in a very strange way. Montgomery, like you read a minute ago, 16 state championships. We're only responsible for 3 of those.
Yeah.
For years, we had a heck of a program that won just all of the time. And so the teacher who was over that program retired, and they couldn't believe, this is hard to believe, but they could not find somebody to take over the program. And so my wife had just started teaching there at the high school, and sort of selfishly, she wanted to get tenure. And she said, I got to find a way, to get in better with the administration. And she said, hey, you want to coach a mock trial team? And I said, I never did mock trial in high school, never did it in college, and it wasn't on any of that sort of stuff in law school. I'd only done real trials. And I said, I don't know how to do this. And she said, well, they don't have anybody. Will you please at least consider it? And I did consider it, went out, took the job, started. The first year was kind of rocky. We still placed in the top 10 in the state, but then just what started slowly happening was that we started figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And what you find with mock trials, no different than sports. All you have to do is just find the right groove. If you can find that right, I guess, I don't know if it's a pattern or if it's a routine or what, but once you can get into that and you get comfortable, all the while just having a ton of fun, you're going to win. We don't call them games, we call them trials. We're going to win some trials, and we did. And when you surround yourself with people like these 4 over here, it gets really easy.
Yeah.
It gets really easy to do stuff like that.
So you talked about witness and what was the other one?
Attorneys.
How do you decide who's what? Like that one over there is an attorney. I already know. I don't even have to look at the sheet.
So actually, these 2 here are attorneys.
Okay.
And then these 2 here, Caden and Charlie, they're witnesses.
So what
And-
makes
and-
a good witness?
Let them talk.
Yes.
And you'll start figuring it out. I mean, just for example, they actually play 2 completely different types of witnesses. Caden is usually the everyday man. So we're given a case.
He's the yard guy that saw the murder across the street.
Well, he actually was the defendant this year. He was accused of burning down a house for insurance money. And so Caden's the good kind of the kind of kid you put on the stand because he's just, oh shucks, there's no way you can get mad at this defendant. Trust me, I've represented real defendants. It's hard to find ones that juries like. All right, they like this guy. Okay, now Charlie, on the other hand, she plays the type of witness that is sort of the character witness, not the expert who comes in and gives you statistical or medical facts, but she comes in and says, this is what I saw. And as soon as she starts talking, the moment the first word comes out of her mouth, you see the scoring judges go, okay. They sit back and they smile and say, this is fun. This is a really, really good witness. And so you kind of have to cast it like a movie, who fits what roles and how does it work for that year's case? And even Claire she plays a cop when she plays a witness, and she does a heck of a job. But no, Emma's been a purebred attorney since I don't know what, sixth grade?
Yeah.
Since birth.
Yeah.
You can say it. Since birth.
So do they? You said this year's thing. So does everybody have this same case, and is this the case you trial all year long?
Right. Yeah.
So it's not like different every time you go to a different event. It's this same case every single time. So it's a matter of honing in the skill, learning your, because I think didn't Adam help you with this a little bit too? Because this is somewhat acting as well, right? So the mannerisms, the talking, the looks and stuff like that is all kind of part of play
so
too, right?
Adam has been involved with the middle school mock trial team for I guess since you were in sixth grade, so probably going on 5-6 years. Now I will say one misconception about mock trial, and it's one thing we're always up against, whether we're on the radio the other day or we're being interviewed by TV stations. Mock trial is not like FBLA. It is not some sort of what are some of these others? CUNA, KYA. It's not. This is a legit competition. It's very similar to sports.
So what was all that you just said? FBLA and all that. What's
Future
that?
Business Leaders of America.
Okay.
All those
I have no
guys.
idea. That's why I'm here. I'm coming.
Yeah.
from
You will learn. He's from West Virginia.
I'm from the sports world. I mean, this is all new to me.
Yeah. It's not like a club activity. I mean, it's a legit fierce competition that requires a lot of work. And the work that these guys put in is just so impressive, especially when you see them at the end of the year. And we always say, we know we're doing it right if when we're in a competition in a courthouse, let's say some random person just stumbles into the courthouse and is lost, is walking around and happens to walk into our courtroom. They should not be confused. It should look like a real trial.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like, oh, look, there's some high school kids putting on a legal play.
Yeah.
It's not. It looks like a real trial. I mean, watching these two object to hearsay and improper character evidence and speculation and just citing rule numbers. Claire, what's the rule number for party opponent?
801D2.
Yeah. So, I mean, they can just spit out these numbers. They can just spit out these objections, and it's just so fun to watch. And you're right. Though I watch the same trial probably 30 times every year. And but by the end of the year, I'm just like, I'm so tired of hearing about this house burning down. But I love watching them in action.
So it is more of a, from an outsider looking in, you kind
From
of
a doofus. You can say we're doofus when it comes to this world.
From a doofus. I like
Okay.
doofus. That's a good word. My daughter's done DECA. They show so. And I know the club, the FBLA clubs and whatnot. You all learn about law down to the finest detail. You all also, it seems like to me that it's more, I thought you were going to say that it's a scenario, it's not improv. I thought maybe it might be improv, but you've given a case. So it is kind of the drama aspect. I know there's a speech and drama and they do compete and whatnot, but there is a drama aspect where you're trying to perfect your character, but there's also the rules behind the law that you all have to know because, as you said, they're objecting to the other team that you're competing against, correct? So there is a improv aspect to it at the same time.
Is. Yeah, the way I love to explain mock trial to, especially when I'm recruiting middle schoolers, I say, look, if you just want to argue, if that's all you're interested in, go join the debate team. If all you're interested in is strategy, we've got a chess club or a chess team that you can do. If you like planning for an opponent and you really like the X's and O's, football's your game. All right. If you just want to pretend to be somebody else and act, join the musical. If you want to do all of those things at the same time, mock trials for you. And you see all of them. have done this. So I know Emma, Charlie came from the musicals. I remember watching them on stage.
Okay.
Claire has been in mock trials since the very, very beginning, but she's also an athlete. She's a cross country runner.
Right.
Caden has been involved with so many things. And Caden, tell them where you're going to college next year, by the way.
I'm going to Harvard.
Whoa.
You're going
You're
where?
going to Harvard?
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's our first Harvard.
Wait,
When
not
did you
too,
find that out?
This January. Yeah, January.
not too bad for a golly gee shucks
And there's
kind of guy.
is there very many people? I mean, I guess everybody knows that.
Yeah, at this point, I think, but a lot of people.
So what was that like? What was that acceptance letter like? Or I guess an email or however
Well,
you got it back?
I just watched a choir performance at the high school, and we just got done watching it, and it's supposed to be at 7. We ended at 6:50.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there surrounded by a bunch of friends, just kept refreshing the page, waiting for it to come in. And it finally popped up, and I saw the confetti, and I couldn't believe it. I have a little thing whenever you click on it. It says, congratulations. A bunch of confetti pops up.
So now Harvard's a pretty big law school. Are you going for law?
Yeah, I'm going for law. Even though I've been a witness my entire career on mock trial, I'll probably go into law.
But even being a witness in mock trial,
Mhm.
it's just like any other team. You know the other aspects down to the finest detail that and you even know in the back of your head, they better object that.
I know. I'm sitting in the back of the trial, just sitting there and being like, "How they missed that objection?"
So, Claire, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. So you named off that objection, the number there a while ago. Are the judges know what that means, right? So if you get that wrong, that counts against you, I would assume, right?
Yes. So there are 3 types of judges. You can have an actual lawyer, you can have an actual judge who tries real trials, or you can just have a college student who does mock trial in college. And you have to cater to each one, because that judge, if they're trying real trials, they're going to know if you say that wrong, they're going to tell you. They're going to let you know you're going to get scored down. College student, they might not, but we've had judges tell us that we've put on cases, we've objected better than lawyers they see every single day. And so it's really, you're not just getting up there, you're not just arguing, you're not talking. We know this. We know laws, we know objections, we know secret different case studies, different ways, loopholes. You're like a law student. You learn all of those things.
The reason that you do that better is because you learn this thing to a science, right? I mean, you're prepped for it, right?
Yes.
And that's the whole point of being a lawyer is to be, prepped, right?
Mhm.
So you said 30 times in a season. When does the season start? Do you go to other schools and compete against a school, or is it 7 or 8 schools? And how does that work? And anybody can answer that.
It's basketball season.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts, the preseason starts end of September, early October, really gets running November. And then our state tournaments at the very beginning of March. And if we're lucky to make it to nationals, like we were this year, we'll go until May.
Now, where's nationals?
Delaware.
Okay.
Ever been?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I actually went
Give me some advice.
2019. We went up and watched the Wilmington minor league baseball team because some of the players that we knew from the Legends
All right.
moved up there. So we spent the summer up there one year.
So you talk about scoring points. Is there a certain scale, or is it just based off the judge that day?
Based off their vibes.
Okay. I didn't know if there was okay, you get 5 points for this, you get 3 points for this.
It's ranked 1 through 10 on each your opening, and then specific witnesses, their cross direct, attorneys have their cross and direct points, and judges can rank it from 1 to 10 or whatnot. And it's based basically on the judge, what they think is a 1 and what they think is a 10.
That's where that luck factor comes in, because you can have a judge who just doesn't like the color of your shirt that day, so they take it down a point. So that's what we were saying before. It is a luck game, whether or not that judge is going to like you, whether or not they think that you were too aggressive, you were too passive. That's all. It's all subjective. So it does come down to luck and skill, and we've been doing really well with both.
So when it's over with, when you've done the trial, is that when you get this kind of feedback? They don't do that during the trial, right? Because that would totally throw you off, right? So, but I mean, it's like you're done, and now you're sitting there waiting, and you're like, how did they score me? Did they like the shirt I was wearing? Did they like my hair? What did my hair?
What's the wait time for one of these events? Like, how long do they last?
Usually 2.5 hours. There's a 3-hour cap. It can't go longer than that, but usually 2 to 2.5 hours is how long.
So I'll just get this out of the way. When they come up to a decision of a winner or a loser, do they go, come on, I have to prep my prop. Do they go, come on. Come
He's
on.
trying, but it won't play. It's funny.
And then your winner is I'm sorry. We talked about it all. We talked about it all day, and I was like,
30 minutes.
listen,
of that.
I don't know anything other than are they going to play the Law and Order boom boom before they do a winner or loser? I'm sorry. That's what we're about. We're a bunch of goofballs.
They actually do not. In each of our rounds, like I said, we'll try this case a ton of times a year. There's no verdict, so they never say who won, or guilty or not guilty, except in the state championship round. And if you've ever been to a real trial, if you ever watched a real trial on television or the verdict, it's always a somber moment. We the jury find the defendant guilty, and it's just kind of this hush, or not guilty or whatever. But it's our competition. When they announce guilty or not guilty, there's this eruption of cheers, just like someone hit a 3 at the buzzer. And so this year, the judge got on the stand and he said, "We, the jury, find the defendant guilty." And of course, again, in the real world, everybody's. But we were jumped up and were high fiving and chest bumping and everything. So that is
Throw that sucker.
So
we have a caller.
our guy that's not here, he's on the phone.
All right, is that Payne?
Yeah, he's got a question. Go ahead, Neil.
Hey guys, it is Neil here, long-time listener, first-time caller. I just wanted to ask Coach and all the Indian mock trialers that are there, what's it like being part of the greatest dynasty to ever be in the history of dynasties?
We'll let Charlie answer that. She hasn't got any time yet.
I think I grew up watching some of the members of the team who got to be the peak of I saw them win the national championship when I was in 8th grade. So I was like, I want to be a part of this team so bad. And I did 6th grade mock trial, but it got cut due to COVID. But just watching and having so many of my role models that I saw throughout school did mock trial. And I was like, I want to be a part of that group of people that could, win all these things. And it's not the biggest advertised thing at our school, but I enjoy it. The team and the people that really involve and care about mock trial is really what makes it something really fun to be a part of.
You said not the most advertised thing in our school. I mean, this is some advertisement.
Yeah.
If you want to win and bring home hardware,
I'll be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why we do this podcast. I mean, for the last year, that's pretty much what we have done is try to celebrate Montgomery County sports. And, we've bled over into Menifee County and Bath County because, there's so many times you hear so much stuff about Louisville and Lexington and stuff like that. But, you don't hear a lot from Central Kentucky right in this area. And we've had pretty much every program on here. There's probably one or two that's missing, but a lot of times that just has to do with the fact of just some people just don't want to come on and talk, right? I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, it's fantastic to sit here and look at all this stuff here and learn about this because just as the week goes on, you kind of prep yourself and you're thinking about questions and stuff like that, and you're like, how does this work, right? And because it's a point, like you said, it's a point system. But I would have never guessed that a lot of it just really goes to playing on the judges, and that's what's really crazy is that that can be the difference in, like, do you ever see any home cooking in this type of stuff? And you know what I mean by that? Like if you go to a school and, maybe their judges are a little more favorable to them or not. Have you seen that kind of stuff before?
At the Nationals, what's really interesting is, because again, Nationals, it's 50 some teams, 40 some teams. Most states have mock trial. West Virginia does not.
Well, I mean, we don't.
Yeah, but
We don't need. If the glove don't fit, you got to quit. That's all we need to know.
But so when we
That's great.
when we went a couple of years ago, when we actually won the whole thing, the first thing that people comment on are accents. Our accents. They go, "Whoa, you guys have accents." Yeah, we're from the South. But then last year we went to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
We still had accents. Like the Arkansas team, who became like our best friends, were saying, "Well, you all sound like you're from the South." We said, "We mean you all. You guys are from Arkansas.
Right.
You're deeper red than we are." And but again, so we would go against some of these elite academies. I'm talking about academies where presidents went to school, back in the 1890s, like some of these very prestigious academies. We just go toe to toe with them. And, we're just a little rural town, what 6,000 in Mount Sterling.
It's always good to see the county team win. And that goes for any state.
Yeah.
It's always
the
good to see
state
the county
championship
team
this
win.
year. Interestingly, we're two public schools. We actually beat Clark in the finals, and it was the first time.
Yeah, Clark. What do you think about that? That's another dub over top of you.
You mean another?
It always disappoints.
Baseball, softball.
The interviewers always disappointed when I tell them that actually our team and Clark are actually pretty tight. We're actually good friends with them. I know in every other sport, it's just cutthroat, like kill. But in mock trial, they're actually our buddies. We scrimmage with them. We hang out. We have nothing but nice things to say to them. Logan Murphy's their coach. You probably know Logan. He's from here. He's a Montgomery grad. So it's one of the rare places that we exist peacefully.
I'm friends with Logan on Facebook, so you see, we saw the post that they were going for the state title, and then I knew they was going against you guys, and I'm like, well, this is going to be interesting as the day goes on, and then he comes back with a post. Well, we come up a little short, and it's like, that, and so that it's really cool on that part of it. So
You mentioned points there a minute ago, and I was going to say that before I did my silly sound effect.
I'm glad you realized that was silly.
It was silly. And I was going to ask Charlie, have you all talked about points and you get points taken off? Have you all ever scored a perfect score?
I have. Well,
I
know most
individually.
of us
She said, I have. I don't know about the rest of these. I have.
I know I have.
She's not too proud.
I know. I think almost all of us have all at least one time at one thing we have gotten a perfect.
What is a perfect score?
10.
So as a team, then have you scored a perfect score?
Usually not. It's not real common because just the nature of scoring itself. They like to start with the opening statements and give a base score, and then they move off of that. Because if you hear one side go first and you say, "Ooh, 10," and then the second person from the other team goes and they're better, you've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, right.
So they try to, with that first score, give a base. And then sometimes a perfect score, I know it's on a scale of 1 to 10, but sometimes a perfect could be an 8 because you have a judge that sits there with those arms crossed with a scowl. And it was like, I don't like anything. That's
the person that refuses to give a 5-star review on 8-star surface. That's what that is. That's that person. I don't give a 5-star review on nothing.
No, but after you do this long enough, you start to realize that there's the Goldilocks zone where if you go too far hokey dramatic, you're going to turn off the attorneys, these old grizzled veterans of like a real courtroom who are there. But if you go too serious and try to be too lawyerly, then you're going to turn off the 19-year-old college kid who's there judging. So you have to kind of find the middle ground. And there's just some things that never fail. All right. So Charlie, let's do it for him.
Oh gosh.
Charlie, we have not done this. I want to be absolutely clear. We have not done this in competition, but Charlie does this outside of every competition. She did it as we were waiting the state results. And this is not political in any way, but she does a heck of a trump. It's so good.
I gotta hear this.
Did you say trumpet?
Trump. That's why I
Oh,
said it's not political. She can do it.
Donald J. Trump.
She does the Trump voice.
huge.
If you can throw in China in there anywhere, that'd be great.
Huge.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't think this is okay with the other side of the attorney. I was trying to think, China, this is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge win. We're going to beat Clark County. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be bigger than ever.
They're gonna love it.
I love it.
See, the context of that is that in our final round, we were all like dying nervous because we did not think that we were going to make it to the state championship round at all. And so it's the last round. He's in there giving us our big, like hype up, and he just says, have fun. And I think I took that a little too seriously because there's like a 30-minute waiting point before the judges come in courtroom. So I only talked in a Trump impression before until I got on the stand. And even when I was like waiting, sitting, when I'm not supposed to be talking, but I can't stop talking, I would like whisper into Caden, like the third trial. I'd be like,
I was on the witness stand giving my direct testimony or whatever, and I just see Charlie start putting her hands up and start whispering us out.
So, Emma,
Yes.
how much mental prep goes into event?
Well, there's a lot of prep throughout the whole entire season. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of memorizing. It's a lot of mentally preparing yourself because you do have to sit there for 2 hours and be fully engaged the whole time. But when it comes to a competition, I've been on the red team for 2 years now. I'm so thankful that I've been on it for so long. But that is the team where we really lock in and we go for gold every time. So what I've really figured out is I mentally prepare myself in the way of like, okay, this is important. You need to do it. You need to have it memorized. You need to not screw up. But at the same time, the year before this year, last year, I went in there and I was really stressed and I was really tense every single time because I was like, that's what mental preparedness is. And I did not do as good as I could have. And this year, I was like, let me take a different approach. So I went in, and while I was prepared, I knew what I was doing, and I was ready to go for gold. I also went in with like the mindset of having fun. So I kind of learned that mental preparedness for me is like, okay, you know what you're doing. So now just go do it, but like don't stress about it. So that's what it is for me.
So how many's on the team?
Well, total we have 22.
Okay, so and you've got a red team and a blue team.
That's right.
Yes.
And do they both compete at state?
They do. Yeah, we consider ourselves to be one team, but then when we get to competitions, we break into two competing teams. The blue team always consists of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And then the red team just consists of the veterans, the ones who usually had success on blue team and then sort of graduated up to red.
Gotcha.
Usually it's anybody who's doubled up. When I say double up, that means they have a role on both sides of the case, or they win an all-state award, and all of them have done that. And so that's what each one of them graduated up to the red team.
So when, like, is it just, you said earlier there's 2 witnesses, 2 lawyers. Is that just the team of 4, or what other roles are filled throughout that?
So on each side of the case, so for example, this year was a criminal case. It was a prosecution, as I said, of a guy who burned down a house.
Yeah.
So there's a prosecution, which consists of 3 attorneys and 3 witnesses.
Okay.
And then on the other side of the case, you have to defend the person. And so there are 3 defense attorneys and then three witnesses for them that provide evidence for that side of the
So
case.
you're doing both sides of it.
We have to do both. Right.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense because I was like, man, you all are competing. I thought you were like you all were the defense and they were the,
Right.
playing against.
So Emma this year was just a prosecution attorney. Claire was the police officer witness for the prosecution, but then she was a defense attorney who did the opening statement. And then Charlie was a defense witness and Caden also was a defendant. So, what's crazy is that you show up to a tournament, you're not sure which side you're going first. Sometimes they'll tell you in advance. Sometimes you show up and they just say, all right, random draw. You're on defense first. And so, all right, guys, defense, go to the courtroom now. We're on the 2nd floor, courtroom B, go. And we have to get ready and then just try the case within probably 20 minutes, just start doing it. And so that's why a lot of these teams that have never done this before, it always takes even a brand new team. So Bath County just started a mock trial team, and they did fantastic. I mean, they did such a good job for a first-year team. But I don't care who it is. It takes you 2 or 3 years to get your feet under you.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, just to be prepared for something like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because not knowing exactly where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing at that point. So
you all will defend. You all will do the same scenario, at nationals, or is it totally different at
completely
nationals?
new case. So
Oh.
for the state level, we get 6 months. So like I said, it's basketball
Right,
season. You've got
right.
from basically October all the way to to March with some competitions in between. But to get the case legitimately ready takes 6 months. For nationals, the case drops 2 days before April 1st, and
So
we're
you
in
still don't know it.
we're in trial in May. So
We
we have
leave the
You have a month.
we have about 3.5 weeks to get the entire case ready. So it's nationals is a grind. It's tough.
And that goes for everybody, obviously.
Right.
So that makes nationals that much more prestigious.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's the national tournament, but
So in
you've got a
Kentucky,
month.
Kentucky has anywhere between 40 and 50 schools that participate every year, has a mock trial team.
Right.
Some of these other states, California has almost 1,000. Florida, Georgia, 200-300. Texas has, I think, 600-700. I mean, it's crazy how many. So when you see the state champion from California, they are absolute black belt ninjas. I mean, they are so good. And there's some states that have less than 10 teams. And so, when Kentucky rolls up into the nationals, they say, well, this is a state that only has 40 teams. They can't be that good.
Until you come in walking, wearing this belt.
Right. We wear the belt. We have those big war hammers.
You walk in with all of this.
Oh yeah.
Of course, yes.
No, we
No. There's no to it. I want to see pictures walking up into the hotel or the courtroom. Oh, sorry.
So just to clear up some confusion from what Sean asked just a minute ago. So when you're doing the defense side, are you the only ones in there? Is there somebody on the prosecution side?
Yeah. So it's the other team we're going against will be the prosecution.
So you are going up against another school.
Yeah, because they have to know what to object to, right?
Well, I think
See, I'm good.
I think him and I were on the
Don't
same
think
page.
it's-
He said you're doing both sides. I was thinking
they're both
you're
sides
doing-
at different times, is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, you said she's a cop on one side, and the attorney on the other side. Well, she's giving an opening statement and then going around to the other side.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so
being a
when
witness.
she plays the cop, she's on the stand, and one of our attorneys will question her. That's called a direct examination. And so they'll say, "What's your name?" "My name's Officer so and so." "How are you employed?" "I'm a police officer with this." "What can you tell us your background, your experience?" "Okay, what happened?" "Well, I showed up. The house was on fire. I talked to this guy. I decided to prosecute." And then no further questions. The other team has an attorney that then cross-examines her to say, "Isn't it true that you blah 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 blah?" And then they really tear into her about doing a terrible job at being a cop,
Right.
And then when she's finished, our next witness gets on the stand. We question our own witness, and then when we're finished, the other side attacks. And then when we're out of witnesses, we flip. They call their first witness and they ask really nice softball questions. "Well, what happened next? What did you see?" And then Emma and Claire get to go and tear into them in cross-examination. And so there's 6 witnesses, and each side gets a crack at each other's witness.
That's pretty cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
So do they make them swear in every time you get in front of the stand?
Most judges choose not to. They're like, we'll just assume you've been sworn in already because
Yeah.
no one
Speed it-
wants to
speed it
sit
up, right?
there. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I mean, it really is.
So what we do, guys, at the end of every season, right before we head to state, we actually hold a public scrimmage where we invite, because a lot of parents can't travel. It's just sometimes, going to Owensboro or going to Covington, it's just a heck of a drive, and they just can't make it for work reasons or whatever. So we hold a public scrimmage. So for parents, teachers, the administration, just friends, past members who were on the team, they like to come. So y'all ought to come next year. I'll let you know when it is, so you can kind of get a good idea of what this is all about.
Can we set up on our live stream?
From Corner to Corner Roadshow live.
Be like, Adam, right here is when Emma makes the attack on offense.
No, I mean, if you make a really good point, there's a chance I'll scream. Is that allowed?
The next room with a video feed, and then you can just comment on it.
Here comes the dagger.
We got some fans outside. No big deal.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Poor Hal, I am here.
Whoop whoop. How's in the house?
It's good that we know some people.
Yeah.
Um,
So you said you're a police officer, right?
Yes, in the case I am.
Let's pretend it's real life. Go arrest those clowns.
Did you bring your cuffs with you?
No, Claire plays a great cop. She actually has been a witness her entire career, but last year when we went to nationals, it was a shooting case, school board members shooting each other of all things. And we needed to play. We needed a cop. We didn't have anybody to play it, and so we had Claire do it. She pulled that ponytail back super tight, where her eyes were popping out of her skull, and she just knocked it out of the park. And then this year, when they released the case, and there was another police officer, we're like, guess what, Claire? You're a cop again.
Yeah, just going from being an attorney to a cop, like it's basically the same. You know, as an attorney, you're up there, you are serious, you're getting your point across, and to an extent, no matter what the other team says, you know you're right. You know, I'm going to object. My point is going to be said, and it's the same as the cop. I get up here, here's my side. This is why I did this. I arrested him, and it's the same thing. So being able to switch in between them, it's a lot more memorizing, but it's kind of the same thing. You're just playing that really strong, independent, you're going to listen to me type of girl.
Charlie and I get to be a bit more goofy.
Yeah.
Understand?
Couldn't tell. Couldn't tell.
I'm not allowed to make any jokes while I'm up there.
Well, no, not as a police officer.
No.
You're a respected law person, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's awesome. So we know Charlie is, or no, not Charlie. Caden. Sorry, we know Caden's going to Harvard. Where's our other senior going? Where are you going?
I'm going to Louisville.
Okay, are you going for law as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is that your hope for all of you guys? Are you all wanting to be in law?
No.
She was quick with that too. She was like,
It's more of law is something that I want to do if I go to college and I really just don't find my path. But right now I'm thinking either political science or pediatric oncology.
Okay.
Sounds
I'm going to
legit.
try to make it through high school, but I mean, I know how to. I think I'm a very sociable person, so I think law could work out in my future.
I never actively point them in the direction of the law, by the way.
Yeah.
People always assume, oh, you're on mock trial team, you're destined to become a lawyer. Very, very few. I would say, so set my 7th year doing it, probably graduate, anywhere from 5 to 6, 7 every year. So let's say there's 40 to 50 graduates through the program since I've been here. I'd say maybe 4 or 5, so maybe 10% have decided to go on to law school. I think I have 3 actively in law school right now, but that's it. So
Yeah.
the thing about what mock trial does for you, it's and I could not convince the I can't remember if it was LEX or one of the Lexington stations when we won the national title, when they interviewed me. All they wanted to do was talk about how it prepares you for law school. And I kept saying, no, that's not. And I refuse to give them
scaring my
that
recruits away.
I refuse to give them the soundbite. They kept asking me. And finally, what they begrudgingly put in there was me saying, look, I've had some people go to law school. Okay.
Yeah.
But the point of mock trial is not to prepare you for the law. It's not. It's to help you think on your feet and understand the importance of just preparation. It's no different than a sport. It's no different than football. When you have, there's a reason you have film sessions with X's and O's, because you want to know what your opponent's going to do. And once you get good at the X's and O's for one opponent, it becomes easier. So the first X's and O's in football is always the toughest in the first week. All right. And that's because you're getting used to it. But by the end of by your 10th game of the season, it's just second nature. This guy goes here, I'm going here. I'm going to cover this zone. I'm going to do that. It's the same way in mock trial is that you start to react in the moment. And to sort of see these guys in trial, whether it's a witness or an attorney, being attacked by the other side, not physically, of course, but just with strategy and things like that, to see them react in the moment is really what mock trial is about.
I can tell you right now, my son goes to Moorhead, and I wish he played soccer. I wish he would have done this. He's a strat comms major, and so this would have helped him out, I believe, tremendously, because I can tell the communication that you all have just by speaking back to us is very fluent, very, head up and talking to people, that's going to help you with any major that you go to college with, whether it's oncology or the way you can get information back to your patient, clearly, or going to be a lawyer or whatever. You said, I'm very social. Like I said, my son's a StratComs major and is very much into social media. He's very much a social person. I wish he would have done this because I think it would have helped him out that much more, just being able to communicate with people. So even going into just any kind of communications, I can see where it would branch off to that. So if you look, you want to go to college, you want to speak well, having communication class is great. Do mock trial.
If you want to do all of that stuff that we've talked about, though, right? You got to have all of the points, right?
Hey,
so
Only if you want to.
You can learn.
only if you want to do them
But
all.
you know, our team, we have the background of where our team comes from. Like I said, we have athletes, we have cross country, we've had football players, we have swimmers. Charlie's a swimmer. We have, we have all that. We have people in the band, people in the musical, people in the Dungeons and Dragons club. We have absolutely all walks of life, and that's really what makes us great. I think is that we're not all the same. It's not just carbon copies of each other. Like, everybody's unique. They all bring something different to the table. But the one thing that they almost all have in common is they do have that ability to just think on their feet. And that's just something. Look, I was an athlete in high school. I played sports. I didn't do mock trial. They would have intimidated me. Like, if I would have stepped off the field to try to do mock trial, and I walked in and saw these four, I just would have turned on. I said, now I'm gonna go back to the football field and just get my brains beat out by these big giant linemen from Bell County or wherever these guys I played against. But no, that's the highest compliment I can always give these kids is that when I was that age, I could not have done it anywhere close to their level.
So Emma, what's one thing that you've learned in mock trial that you can take with you the rest of life? And I'll ask you all the same question.
That's a tough question because I've learned a lot, but like he's mentioned, I've been doing this since 6th grade. And I was not this talkative. I could not have sat here and done this in 6th grade. So I think the one thing that I really learned is just how to be fluent with my words. And like we talked about, think on my feet. Like, even that question, it makes me have to think really quick. And even now, I can present an answer that's understandable and it makes sense. So really just the ability to think on my feet and speak to people in a normal manner, I think.
Okay, as someone, I do, like he was saying, as a mock trial person, we do a lot of different things. I did DYW, I do FBLA, and in all of those different clubs, you're asked to talk. You have to do a job interview. For FBLA, you do impromptu speaking, you present like a business proposal. That's all because of mock trial. The only reason that I'm able to sit here and speak on my feet to do any of this, and that's probably what a lot of us are going to say, but it's a skill that you'd be surprised not a lot of people have. To get someone and make them stand up in front of a courtroom completely alone, staring to a bunch of lawyers, there's not a lot of people could do that. So the ability for us to be able to get up there, learn how to talk with passion, to be able to persuade people and show that you really care about it, that's what matters, because that's what's going to get you far in life, is when you're able to talk and show people that this is something I care about and I'm going to do this.
I've always been a very talkative person, but I feel like mock trial showed me how to talk with a purpose and talk with how you're trying to get a point across. So I feel like I can also the conversations I have with people have changed because of mock trial, because of it teaches you more social awareness to go off of, because you're getting crossed by someone who has a whole argumentative emotion towards you. So it's how to have conversations with people. It's a lot I feel like it changed my perspective on talking with other people, my social awareness.
I will say that I've definitely used mock trial skills on interviews. Whenever I was doing interviews for colleges, it felt like it was all secondhand nature to me. Whenever a lot of kids I knew were struggling on doing with these interviews and stuff. So I felt like it helped a lot with that. But also another aspect which we didn't really talk much about, but the fact we come together as a team, and it's really a team sport per se. the companionship I've made through mock trial creates some of the strongest bonds, friendships I've had over the years, and I can't thank it enough for that.
Well, that's a consistent we get on all of our shows, whether it's you all or whether it is the soccer team or basketball team or whomever. It's a consistent we get, and I don't especially in Montgomery County.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know how when we all graduated high school, we still didn't know how to balance a checkbook or do any of that stuff, like the real world stuff. I always said, why don't we have a class that teaches us that?
Yeah.
Why don't we have like a class in high school that gives you like stuff you're going to use for the rest of your life? I don't know why we don't have mock trial classes, whether you want to say it's a speech class or a public speaking class. I'd say just do a mock trial class, introduce kids to the legal system, and then get them on their feet talking. I don't know why that's not in the curriculum across the state. I know some high schools across the state have those programs. They have little courtrooms built in their classrooms and stuff. But I just wish that everybody could do this, because there's not been a person go through the program. It's not the Montgomery program. I'm talking about if anybody went through a mock trial program anywhere, they came out on the other end much improved.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish more people were exposed to that. And that's the thing that I appreciate you guys having us on, so we can try to get some more exposure to this type of program. Whether, because I mean, you guys are now, infiltrating Menifee and Nicholas, they need some program. They need this program down there. I can hook them up with local attorneys that'll help them coach. It's just fantastic. You can put as much into it as you want, and you'll get more out of it than you thought you ever could.
Well, before we wrap up, that was one last thing we want to say. If there's somebody out there and that's younger that wants to get into this, what's the best way to do that?
Kentucky High School Mock Trial Association. If you type in Kentucky High School Mock Trial into Google, you will find a group that is made up of some fantastic people. I wish I could name them all, but Will Mattingly, Connie Kremer, Shamir Patel, Aaron Izzo, Aaron Glaser, Logan Murphy. These people run the statewide board. They will help you get a program started at your high school, and they will come to you. They will talk to your social studies teacher, your principal, whoever. They will get the program going, and it will make your school better across the board.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, guys, we appreciate you coming on. Congratulations again on winning 3 in a row. And best of luck going to the Nationals. We've already proven that we can do it, right? So
You guys have room on this wall.
we got room for something. You give us something, we'll hang it.
I've got a national championship T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you say T-shirt?
We will put that up.
Yeah. You get it to me, we'll get it on the
Hey,
wall.
I wear a 2X.
Snob when you're talking
I wear a 2X. If y'all want to give me one, I'm okay with
All
it.
right, we'll keep it in mind.
Speaking of T-shirts, did anybody not find it ironic that the cop/attorney has a shirt that says "Violator" on top?
I didn't even notice
Just a minute ago.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So, well, again, thank you all so much for coming on with us. The best of luck, and if you guys are out there watching, keep up with them, because come May, we're going to Nationals, going to Delaware. Hopefully, we can bring home the trophy again. Is that the national championship trophy there?
That's the one.
So we need another one to go over here on the other side for the next time you guys come back. So,
All right, we'll do it.
awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you all so
guys.
much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
We're just taking a quick break, right?
Yeah.
Hey, where'd the banner go? Whoop, whoop, house in the house. All right, guys, we're back. We did a little dismissal there, so we're going to finish up a little bit on the Saturday show. So just laughing at Neil. He made a little, yeah, he's like, nice mock trial reference there, right? You're dismissed.
Case dismissed.
Yeah. So, man, that was very interesting.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And golly, you just don't realize what goes into it. But man, there's a lot to that. An absolute lot to that.
A lot of memorization, a lot of law that needs to be known. I mean, probably, I could be wrong, but probably the most information you have to know going into a competition.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say.
Yeah.
Plus,
the
I'm
cool
glad
part
we
about
had
it is
them on.
like you don't really know what their rebuttals are going to be, right?
Right.
So you have to be, thinking on your feet on that kind of stuff too. So
Right.
that was awesome. They're a solid team, and we got. I mean, we always have a chance when we
They
go
are
to
not a
national.
team.
Yeah.
They are a dynasty.
Right. Right.
100%.
So, want to talk a little bit of football?
So the fans on Facebook get a little bit. I mean, I guess they did a little bit with Coach Collier being here last week, but it's just us three now. Neil had to leave, so they get a little sneak peek of what they get to listen to on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Download the Saturday show and listen to it because it's even better. Because we have a face for podcasting.
There is a face over here too.
We don't have
four
a
of us
face.
actually in this room.
Sorry, Darren.
No love, no love.
Yeah. The no love for the.
I mean, is it Powell County again?
Probably.
That's true.
That'll be the third time it's all
So-
Powell County since I've
Wow,
been on
did y'all get that alert while we was on there from ESPN?
Yes, we did.
Deontay Johnson gets traded to the
Bryce
Panthers.
Young's got him a weapon, baby.
Ain't gonna matter.
Like,
I'm glad. Listen. I'm
Why?
glad I traded him and Kenny Pickett off my team.
Why?
You're welcome.
Why? Deontay Johnson's a PPR machine. I'll take him. He's 27.
Do you think Do you think
Look
that
at-
means they're getting rid of?
Hold up. Look at my wide receivers.
Adam?
I do not need Deontay Johnson every week.
That's true. Do you think that means they're getting rid of
Thielen.
Adam Thielen
no, I
No,
think he's
because
the other side.
He needs
I
to
mean,
be
they don't
there
have a
too.
first round pick.
because Bryce Young's not going to throw it deep. He's just going to dink and dunk.
What did they
to go-
trade for it? I didn't
I don't
dig
know.
into it to see.
It didn't give any details.
Oh, gotcha. So,
At the time of the
it's been an
notification,
active free agency right off the bat 2 days into this.
And the Packers are in on it.
Running backs are getting paid like
The
crazy.
Packers are in.
Josh Jacobs. Yes.
I know you're super enthused about that, but I think you just traded Aaron Jones for Josh Jacobs.
And Josh Jacobs is younger. He's
Younger.
a 3-down back. He's
Yes,
more
he is.
dependable.
Yes,
He hits the hole hard. He's a power back. Do I need to keep going?
And he didn't have a good year last year.
He
played for the Raiders.
He's the perfect combination of both the
I
running
don't
backs
think
that
it's
the
that big
Packers
of an
have.
upgrade.
You're wrong.
Thank you, Wes.
It's the perfect combination. They don't want A.J. Dillon doing one thing, and
AJ
Aaron Jones
Dillon's
doing
gone.
and that's not my point.
No.
They didn't. They don't want A.J. Dillon doing one thing and Aaron Jones doing another. They wanted one guy, and then if they need a scat back, they can bring him in for a breather. But they wanted Josh Jacobs to do both of those roles, like he did not last year, but the year before. He was a beast.
And he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. So
He
let's not
was,
act
yeah.
like he was a bad bum.
Right.
He had 1,000 yards
We'll
last year.
see.
The second half of the season, which was much better to
Yeah,
him.
because he didn't have Jimmy G. He had Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah,
Who would have thought
we'll
Aiden
say-
O'Connell would be better than Jimmy G?
I don't know that he was better than Jimmy G,
Was
but they
Jimmy
had no choice.
Garoppolo a product of the poor coaching of McDaniels?
No, I think
Because he was the quarterback with McDaniels as the coach. Aiden O'Connell was the quarterback after McDaniels.
I just think they need to see what they had in O'Connell.
I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, but he's not the franchise.
Probably not.
No, they've already signed Gardner Minshew.
But I mean,
That's your bridge quarterback. And now you're going to draft either Bo Nix or Michael Penix. They're going to sit for a year. get a learn under
I
him.
think Bo Nix goes to the Broncos,
It's
and
a
I think
fit.
Penix goes to the Seattle Seahawks.
It's a fit.
Both of those. So I mean, running backs are getting paid. Derrick Henry signed today. Is there anybody left?
What a perfect fit for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, the Ravens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like I was listening on the radio on the way here. People's like, do I like Derrick Henry in fantasy? No. Do I like Derrick Henry to the Ravens in fantasy? Yes. You know.
And who has Derrick Henry? Me.
It will be interesting to see what happens because if he gets hurt, because Gus Johnson left,
Well, they got Keaton Mitchell,
Or
right?
Gus Edwards.
Well, Gus Edwards. What did I say?
Gus
Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson.
Onions.
But I mean, Gus Edwards left.
The other dude
And
hasn't signed anywhere yet, right?
Keaton Mitchell might be able to come back.
He was a rookie.
I understand that, but
He
he
got
tore
hurt.
his knee up.
Yeah, but so J.K. Dobbins.
So we'll see. And
Dobbins
J.K.
has not been
Dobbins
signed.
is, and he's not going to ever be right again.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and a lot of people don't think that Nick Chubb will be either.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see there. But I mean, it's going to be Henry and only Henry. At
Only
least in the
Henry.
first 10 games of the season, 8 games of the season.
I'm so excited
I'm sure you are,
because
you should be.
I got Tajay Spears in that trade too. And I mean, yeah, he's got Tony Pollard to work with, but
Right.
Tony Pollard was so bad last year. Dallas said 1 year's
I
enough.
think the problem with Tony Pollard is that he's not a lead back. I
If
think
you-
that's what
right,
Dallas
If you
tried to
go
do.
back and look at it, though, Tony Pollard's stats from week 10 on
which was
was
after I
a
traded
top,
him.
was a top 5 running back.
Yeah, I agree.
That's when their offense went nuts.
Right.
And he did a lot of catching during that.
He did.
You know.
He did.
Baker and Kirk probably both got overpaid.
I don't think so.
Baker, I think so. Kirk,
I don't think Baker
You know,
got overpaid.
Baker is a 3-year, $75 million guy.
I
He's
don't.
not a 3-year, $115 million guy.
It was 100, wasn't it?
Well, it
Well,
can be
100 with-
115.
With incentives.
yeah.
He's not.
I
gonna
mean,
get those
I mean,
incentives.
look, it's $30 million.
And Kirk Cousins got money that just basically said the Falcons is like, we're taking you off the market. That's how he got
Right.
paid.
Right.
That left no doubt. There's nobody else was going to pay him that money.
But Kirk Cousins is a smart businessman.
He
He's
is.
never taken a bad deal.
He's
I will
also
say
coming
this.
off of an Achilles tear.
I feel you're right. I feel like Baker might even have a better season because he had to get acclimated to everything. Even in the offseason, he had to get acclimated to everything.
I'm sensing
by
you're
the
coming to my
time-
side of this, Wes.
By the time 6th week came around into the rest of the season, he finally got comfortable. And I mean,
And it could have been the same situation. It could have been like, look, we're going to pay Baker so nobody else takes him. You know?
Yeah.
I think the Browns are going to look back when Baker's career is over with and go, we made a mistake.
The Browns got their franchise quarterback today. Jameis Winston.
that's right. James Winston, he can see.
He can see. He got LASIK.
Jameis went there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one move of all my fantasy guys that's signed that doesn't really do me any good. I was kind of hoping
Well, it does because Deshaun Watson don't play ever.
he's that was a bad deal.
Everybody's
Worst
always
trade. Worst trade.
Who is this? The
Christian McCaffrey one.
no.
No.
Did
Russell-
somebody send this in?
Russell
Yes.
Wilson
Right.
or Deshaun Watson, worst trade. Now, granted, Deshaun Watson, they gave up 3 first-round picks and other picks.
Listen, I don't care what Deshaun Watson they gave up. Denver is paying $85 million to not have Russell Wilson on the roster.
Denver crippled their organization for years.
Yeah.
And you look, Deshaun Watson, happy baby, did not. He was injured last year.
Yep.
His shoulder was not right. He should not have come back.
But
I
even
don't
when
know
he was
why-
cleared, he said, "I still don't feel right," and didn't play.
Right. So what
He's
I
a
don't
prima
understand
donna.
is why they.
He's got
I
guaranteed money.
disagree with you.
I don't think he's.
I think
don't
he's going to
a
come
prima
back this year. You can mark this down.
donna. Clip it.
Deshaun Watson will be a top 12 quarterback in fantasy, which acclimates into the NFL this year. You wait and see.
And listen, this guy's made some bold takes before, and I'm like, I can't see it, Wes. He called Detroit Lions being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. He was a dog pecker hair away from it.
Yep, I was.
I'm going to clip that reel tomorrow and drop it and say, here's one time Wes was wrong.
But Russ Wilson is, I mean, is Russ Wilson going to be better than Kenny Pickett?
I still think Kenny Pickett's the future in Pittsburgh.
I
Because it's a
think
one-year
Russ is
deal.
done. I think he cannot. He doesn't fit into a system
A lot of the
anymore.
problem that you're hearing about what Russ is the fact that he's not a very good team player.
Well,
No.
regardless of that, he used to be a pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's that athlete anymore.
Why was everybody so excited to get Russ? Was it because he was an elite quarterback? No. It was because he cost $1.2 million.
Yeah, I think he got $2
Oh,
million.
this year, yeah.
I think he got $2 million.
That's with incentives.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he signed for the vet men of 1.2
Yeah, because Denver's
paying the offset.
35
Yeah.
$38.
$38 million to him.
Yeah.
It was
So
supposed to be 39.
I think the worst trade was the Denver trade because
I
as an
agree.
organization, it crippled them.
I agree with Wes.
Yeah, and I mean the Browns literally were a quarterback away, and maybe they still are. I mean,
They
the
got
Browns
Jameis.
played well last year.
They brought in Joe Flacco. Their defense is that good.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco went out there and just was like, I mean, what do I have to lose? I'm just going to fling the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
I think Deshaun Watson can do that.
Yeah.
Along with, if he can get his legs up underneath of him, use his legs like he did in Houston. I don't think it's a matter of him losing his athleticism. I think it's just a matter of him getting it straight.
So, just so we're clear, you want Deshaun Watson to get his legs under him like he did in Houston. So, you want him back to masseuses. I just want that on the record.
You
and
want
clear.
what?
Back to masseuses.
Oh, sure,
No, that's
absolutely.
his legs above him.
Well,
No, that's her legs above it.
no, it was his.
It was
his.
Go back and look at the
That's
happy
it.
baby.
It was Lift up the happy baby pose for
true. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
So what about Sam Darnold to Minnesota? Is he going to be
Trash.
Is he going to be the starter there?
He has to
eventually for the first 5-6 games.
be. I mean, he has to be. They have nobody else.
They
Who
will
got?
draft a quarterback.
Nick Mullins? Is that who else they got?
Nick Mullins and Josh
At
Dobbs.
11. I don't know that they have Dobbs.
So a mock I seen today, I think it was CBS Sports. They done a post free agency mock, and they had the Vikings trading up with the Falcons and taking J.J. McCarthy in the top whatever pick the Falcons were. It's top 10.
I mean, they're at 11, so it wouldn't take them much to go up 2, 3, 4 spots
Yeah.
and be able to take. Well, I mean, anybody, whether it's JJ, whether it's Bo Nix, or whether it's. I wouldn't take Bo Nix, to be honest with you.
I wasn't either.
But
It's gonna
I
take a
would
certain
probably
system.
take. I would take
Yeah,
either
I think
Penix
Bo
or I would
Nix
take.
is a Denver system.
Yeah,
I think that's what he is.
but that's the only team.
I saw a mock the other day, and that I don't think this would happen, but Justin Jefferson and number 11 for number 1 to take Caleb Williams
I mean,
and stick him with
Justin
Jordan
Jefferson's
Addison.
about to sign a big contract, though.
Why has he not signed it yet, though? He should have already signed it.
Well, he was holding out to see if he'd play for Kirk. But then he also made a statement. They asked him about Kirk, and of course he put Kirk over. It's his quarterback. He was like, Kirk's great. And then at the end he was like, but I did have other quarterbacks last year, and I still got my 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
that's true.
Be interesting to see on that part of it. Did you all see where Tiki Barber blasted Saquon for signing with the Eagles?
And Saquon
Basically
blasted
said
him
that
back.
you're dead to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said, and then he said today on the Dan Patrick show, he said, I still love Saquon, and Saquon understands. Like, for 17 years now, I've been the voice of the fan because he's on the fan in
Yeah.
New York. He's like, I've been the voice of the fan. So when I tell him, you're dead to us, you're dead to me, I'm talking as a Giants
Right.
alum and a Giants fan.
Nice recovery there, Tiki. That's all.
Do you
that
have a
is.
problem with it? I don't.
No,
Because
no.
he was a Giants player.
No, and here's the thing. Saquon didn't want to leave the Giants. But in a world where running backs don't get paid, they get one opportunity to get a bag.
Yeah.
And he got his opportunity to get a bag. It just so happened to be with the Eagles, right? He got more guaranteed money, more money on the year. I mean, he's getting over $11 million a year. No other running back got that kind of money, and he's going to be dangerous in that Eagles offense.
Yeah, he is almost as dangerous as Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. So
I would agree with that.
And I mean, in all of these running backs that are getting these contracts, which we have not been seeing that lately, but
Everybody but Aaron Jones got paid
yeah,
But Aaron Jones got $7 million
for 1 year.
for 1 year.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand about that is that Alexander Madison was signed for that same amount.
yeah, Aaron Jones would have been a good call for Dallas or Houston to make, and neither one of them did that
I told you. Well, Houston got their running back today.
with Mixon.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Mixon's good.
I know, but the Bengals have run the wheels off of him.
He was running back 5 last year as far as carries go and 11 as far as catches go.
Yeah.
Houston had the running back 2 as far as opportunities. Devin Singletary's out. Damian Pierce is
Yeah.
Damian Pierce. It's
Yeah,
Joe
I don't
Mixon's
think
show.
Damian Pierce will be on the team because he doesn't fit the system.
I don't know that there's much difference, like you said, between Mixon and Singletary. But I think I take Mixon all day long.
Yeah, I think Mixon's
Over
Between
more
those two, I
explosive.
agree with you. I
Yeah.
would probably take
They
Mixon.
upgraded running
And
back.
it looks like that Moss is going to be the starter in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Zach Moss and
That's
Chase
a
Brown.
deal. That's a deal for them.
Zach Moss and Chase Brown is going to be a heck of a tag team.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see if they don't use that first round pick either A on Brock Bowers, which is what they need to do if
I don't
that's
think there's
possible.
no way he gets to them.
Every mock, look at every mock.
Wait and
He's
see.
going to number 18.
When
to the
you
Bengals.
get past those first 5 or 6 offensive guys, then there's a lot of offensive tackles, defensive ends that
Yep.
are going one
Safeties.
right after the other, because nobody else needs a tight end.
Like
And then all of a
everyone that
sudden-
I've seen is
and then
going
all-
to the Chargers.
And then all of a sudden,
Saw one day Chargers are taking Malik Neighbors, wide receiver,
I don't know that Malik gets there, but that would be incredible for them.
because the Chargers signed Big Montana, Will Disley.
You know, well,
But that's Harbaugh's style.
It's
Disley
true.
is the blocking tight end.
yeah, I mean, this is true. Brock Bowers doesn't fit that system because they're going to run the crap out of the ball.
Yeah.
But
So
so
who-
either
who's gonna be
Cincinnati
their
gets
running back.
so
I mean, are they going to premier Gus Edwards?
I would.
Oh yeah,
I think that, and I think they'll. I
Josh
think in
Kelly.
I
No,
think
he's free agent.
Josh Kelly is
They both are.
in the second round, you know who they're going to pick.
Blake Corum.
Bingo.
I don't think he'll be second round.
The
I think
other,
it's third.
what I was going to say was Blake Bowers to Cincinnati, or I could see them drafting Trey Benson in the first round, and that's who their future running back will be.
Brock Bowers, I
Trey
saw
Benson, where did he play?
Florida State.
Okay. That's right.
Brock Bowers, I saw today, was 15 in the mock to the Colts. He's the first time I'd seen him not going to Cincinnati at 18.
That's, to me, that's an odd landing, but
I think somebody trades up before he ever gets to 18. He's a generational talent at tight end.
and that might
in
be
a
true.
league that tight ends is becoming a premium role.
Yeah, right.
That's, you know what that is? That is totally a Andy Reid type of, well, let's trade up and get Kelsey's replacement. I could see him doing that.
Well, they signed Kelsey's replacement today.
Yeah, they did.
Irv Smith,
Right.
Junior.
Jr. Sorry.
Put the junior on his name.
He did not perform well in Cincinnati
He
at
did
all.
not.
Well,
He did
Joe
not.
Burrow was hurt.
So I don't know on that one. Let's see what we got.
Bread Monkey. Mullet Man says you're. Which one was it? What was we just talking about? He says that's a trash take.
On
On
who?
which one?
Which one? What was the one we said we was
Deshaun
gonna quit?
Watson?
There you go. That's a trash take.
Well, I mean, if you were here, you could,
Rebuttal.
you could give us a rebuttal, or you could, drop a video to give us a rebuttal. But you're not here, so sorry. Next question.
Phone ring in 3, 2, 1.
I hope not. There's only 50 seconds left in this game.
And who's winning?
Actually, it doesn't even matter. Ashland's up by 14.
Wow.
Xander Carter has showed up. Tonight.
As we said, it's hard to beat a team four times.
Wow.
Especially when that team has won the region year after year after
Right.
year.
Right.
T. Higgins asked for a trade. Any dance partners?
Patriots are the favorite right now. Said a third round offer's on the table.
A third round?
Third round pick, yep.
I would think it would take a first.
Nope. Think about it. Brian Burns, that is his name, right? Brian Burns,
Yes.
the end of Carolina. Excellent talent. Young player. He got traded yesterday for a second and a fifth. T. Higgins ain't as good as him.
So the argument to T. Higgins is there are 12, 15 really good wide receivers in this draft. You're going to have to pay him
In the
$20 to $23 million a year versus a rookie on a rookie deal. You know,
True. The Patriots are in the top 5 of having a bag of money to be able to give out.
yeah.
And they've not made any big splashy moves so far in free agency.
I mean, for a third round pick, I
And
would
they
love
just got
the,
rid
the
of-
Bears to do that. Hell,
He can go there and legit be their number one. And
Yeah.
that's probably what he's looking for. I don't blame him. If he can stay healthy, he could be their number one. He can be their number one with Jaden Daniels or Drake May or whomever they take.
you know, I'm hearing more and more Jaden Daniels to Washington
I saw today he's
Because
going
of-
to 3.
because of Cliff Kingsbury. That he fits his style of play better than Drake May does.
What if Chicago just don't take Caleb Williams?
I mean, it throws the draft all into
So,
a frenzy.
I
mean,
think I will say it's the most rigged thing I've ever seen. If they don't take Caleb at 1, because where is Caleb Williams from? Washington D.C.
Hey,
Who's got the
look,
2 pick? Washington. Who's got
I've
new
said it
ownership?
for the last couple of weeks that I would not be shocked to see the Bears take Daniels.
I don't think they're going to take Daniels. I think they'll move down 1 spot or 2 spots, and that way Washington or whomever can take, or even the Patriots can take Caleb Williams at 1, and then they still end up with
Now
one of
that
those
would
2
be
quarterbacks.
rigged if the Patriots wind up with Caleb Williams.
Well, the Patriots are winding up with one of these 3 quarterbacks anyway. I think they're all 3 going to be good. So
Yeah.
Drake May probably the least good of the 3.
Yeah, and it's so funny listening to different
Yeah, but he's like Josh Allen. No, I'm just kidding.
different people.
Here we go with these dang comparisons again.
Different people with different takes. You know, you hear Merrill Hodge like trash on May, right? And then on the way here, I was listening to the Fantasy Network, and they were like, Caleb or Drake May is the most complete quarterback in the draft, blah blah blah. And it's like there's such a wide variety.
I don't think.
And I think that's the key to the NFL or any other thing. It's like nobody knows, right? And they get it wrong more than they get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, they just do.
Yeah.
And
Mitch Trubisky went before Patrick Mahomes.
Deshaun Watson.
Patrick Mahomes.
And wasn't Lamar Jackson in that draft too?
Yes, Baltimore traded back into
Yeah.
the first round to take
So
him.
the Bears missed on 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson still yet to be determined. You know, he may come back,
Harrison County's about to win the 10th.
over Clark.
No, over
Campbell. Campbell.
Yeah, gotcha.
Clark got beat.
That's right.
It's a 3-point game, 1 minute to go in overtime.
OT. Caden Custard is a man.
And he's been a dog of the week on this show for a reason.
My goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
he's quarterback too, right?
Yeah.
What an athlete.
Cowboys have done nothing in free agency other than lose players. What shocks you about free agency?
Nothing.
Nothing shocks you about any of this?
They didn't need a whole lot.
Well, they lost a lot.
No, but here's
but
they're
who
trying to
else
get
have
rid
they
of
lost?
McCarthy, though.
I mean, other than
They've lost some
Pollard.
defensive players. They lost an offensive lineman. They lost Pollard.
I don't think any of that hurts them other than Pollard.
I don't even think Pollard hurts him. Like I sent it earlier in the group.
But Dowdle is a restricted free agent.
Right. But,
So,
which means
he
if a team offers, Dallas can match, right?
They could. I don't know that they will for Dowdle. I think that they go in and during their first pick, I think that they'll take one of these running backs.
I don't think any of these
Like,
running backs
I
are
could
worth
see
it.
them take a whole. But what if they took Braylon Edwards? Not Braylon Edwards. Braylon
Allen
from
from Wisconsin.
it's close. Edwards Allen
Because he is a beef boy. He's a beef boy.
and so I could see him fitting. That's the system.
I think they're going to give it to Deuce Vaughn. I don't know why I think that. I just really think they're going to give it to Deuce.
he's 5'5".
Yeah.
He
ran
if
pretty
he can
good
run
last
under
year.
people's legs, or maybe so. I don't know.
He made a pretty good career at Kansas State.
He'll get hurt.
That's what they said about Darren Sproles, too. He never got hurt.
But he didn't run the ball. He punt returner, wonderful. Kick returner, wonderful. Every once in a while, you scat back and throw it out to him, wonderful. He's not durable. He was not durable enough to take the ball 3 times.
Which is why you keep Rico Dowdle.
And they'll just get Mike McCarthy fired.
And that's the plan. That's why I said nothing surprises me. They're going to fire Mike McCarthy, and Jerry Jones is getting Bill Belichick next year.
We don't care about the Cowboys anyways.
He is. It's 100% in the script. It might not even be next year.
I didn't think about that, but that's an interesting point. Could you see Jerry Jones and Bill Belichick?
They have a great relationship already.
Right. I could see that working.
Jerry's not getting any younger.
It would be the most Cowboy thing to do.
Oh, 100%.
So Jerry Jones has what? Maybe, let's be realistic, maybe 5 years left of life. Not just as owner of the Cowboys.
Him and Belichick.
Clip
about the
that.
same.
Let's write that down too. I mean, let's see. March
That's the only way the
12th of
Cowboys are ever going to be
2023.
better. He's going to have to die. That's for sure.
If he eclipsed March 12th of 2028, he beats
He beats my prediction. I mean, if you could bet the Vegas odds on within the next 5 years if Jerry Jones is dead, I would take the under.
I bet that's on DraftKings.
I mean,
Hey, DraftKings, put that on.
Can you create a bet?
Pardon my take, guys. They do the on their New Year's Eve episode. They always do what celebrity's going to die this year, like the upcoming year, and they all pick one. And if they die that year, then whoever had the celebrity wins the game. I think Jerry Jones is a real good candidate.
So let's get to what we really want to talk
Yeah,
about.
so Neil's gone, so we can talk fantasy sports, right?
Dad's
And I
not
know
here.
We're already on a pretty long show. But
Hi, Dad.
We'll take
You might want to turn it off.
take a few minutes. So
So he's probably already gone.
we've done 2 baseball drafts at this point.
And I've lost a lot of players.
I think
lost a lot.
there's a lot of people that's lost a lot of players already. It's kind of like, what are we doing in spring training?
Happens
My
every year.
gosh.
Every year.
Garrett
So
Cole.
is Cole going to be out for the season?
No, they said he's not going to be ready for the opener, though.
Oh. Well,
I took Lucas Giolito in both of my leagues, and he's having surgery tomorrow or Thursday, and they won't know if he'll be done for the rest of the season or do the other surgery until they get in
here's
there.
what I will tell you about that. Your ERA just got better because Lucas Giolito sucks.
Did y'all see the meme going around
He
about
holds the record. He's the only guy in MLB history to have 3 8-inning runs in one season on 3 different teams. And he did that last year.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
Did you see the meme going around about the Kelnick trade that the
No.
Braves made?
Uh-uh.
So they Seattle traded the Braves Kelnick for 2 minor league prospects.
Yep.
One of them had Tommy John surgery last month. The other one has Tommy John surgery next week.
Hey,
Mariners got fleeced.
let me tell you. I mean, Kelnick's not that good. He's a good defensive player. But
He's a good power hitter.
here's the funny thing. Sometimes you just have to know the right time to trade somebody. I.e., Kenny Pickett.
Deontay Johnson.
No, hey, I'm telling you,
I
that's
think
going to work
Deontay
in my
will be
favor.
fine.
He's got
Bryce will probably feed him the ball.
It's going to work in my
Yeah.
favor.
he's got
Who did you get on that trade?
Matt Stafford, 36-year-old quarterback, which I'm okay
And the third
with.
round pick.
Yeah, I'm okay with losing Matt Stafford. Here's why I did the trade. I got thinking.
Because you didn't like, you were like, this team's stale. I need something else.
Well, that was part of it. But also, like, I thought about it, and I was like, whoever I draft in the third round, it's probably not going to be as consistent as Deontay Johnson.
I agree with that.
So I just.
But now that he's at, look, I would have not really liked that trade if he'd have stayed in Pittsburgh. Because
Yeah.
I actually think that Russ can dump it off to him, and he would have had a good year.
Yep.
It would have been the best quarterback he would have played under,
Since
since Ben.
You've quietly made your team better in the Dynasty Football League.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, a couple of trades. Look,
Traded my old quarterbacks off.
look. All you got to do is catch Trey in the right mood. If he's done with somebody,
Is Trey watching?
he doesn't ever watch this.
Okay, good.
If you catch Trey in the right mood and he's done with somebody, a lot of times you can get a deal done a little cheaper than what you would normally get that done.
I did trade Jonathan Taylor, though, but I got back Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Turned out all right.
Yeah.
In this league where it's two quarterbacks,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
And he doesn't even have Taylor anymore
I think
because he didn't want to wait him.
Oh, but he wants him back though.
Well, yeah. So he traded me Taylor last year and Kamara, and as soon as they both came back, he's like, "So what do you want?" And I was like, "I'm not your holding department," So
I think I got Matt Stafford in that deal, too. I got two quarterbacks in that deal, I remember.
You're right about that because you needed quarterbacks back.
Yeah.
Did he just trade Fields?
Yes,
Yep. To Spencer.
to Spencer.
Yeah.
For Kirk
Yeah.
with a bum Achilles. But
Kirk's going to be good in the Atlanta offense.
if he can get healthy, he'll have a better season than Aaron
And
Rodgers
he
will
got
have.
Diggs in that deal too, though. I mean,
Yeah, Diggs is done.
Diggs is done.
Done.
I think he's done.
He is a burnt marshmallow right now.
yeah.
Done.
Did you see Gabe Davis sign with the Jags?
I did. I still don't know what to think about that.
Darnell Mooney signed with the Falcons?
I saw that.
That must have been today.
It was.
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver.
They got Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and then it was three guys I'd never heard of
Right.
before.
Don't they have Zacchaeus or
No,
Nope.
not anymore.
No,
Nope.
they don't have them anymore.
No,
Oh, do they
literally,
have,
he's right. There's like
Mac-
three guys I've never heard of before.
Mac Hollis, did he leave?
No, yeah, he's gone too.
They had a bunch of wide receivers that were free agents.
Wait a minute.
There's 6 seconds left.
I
Harrison
might-
County has a 2-point lead.
I
Campbell
might
County has the
retract
ball.
my statement about Kirk.
Yeah, well, they probably will address that, more. But I mean, you got Calvin Ridley that hasn't signed yet,
True.
and who's the other wide receiver? There's another wide receiver that's of name that hasn't signed anywhere yet. I can't remember who it was now.
I don't know.
But there's not a lot of free agents on the wide receiver market,
Right.
So mostly been running backs. So I don't know.
This just in, Patrick Mahomes is restructuring his contract to free up $21.5 million in cap space.
Uh-oh.
He's getting T. Higgins.
Campbell County just hit a 3 to win the 10th region.
No way.
64-63 in overtime. Hit the 3 at the buzzer.
Wow.
Caden Custard denied.
Wow.
Would have been
They shut the door
Harrison's.
real quick.
I think it would have been Harrison's first region championship since '97.
Oh yeah, it's been a
How
long
long?
time.
How long it been for Campbell?
18.
Yeah.
Or it might have
Not
been
18
19.
years.
No, I got
It might
that.
have been 2018, 2019. It was somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I saw the tweet earlier today.
Wow. Never. The game's never over, right?
Wow.
So that tells me Patrick.
Way to
Mahomes
ruin my
getting,
big news.
Sorry, I'm.
Higgins.
Oh yeah, that was wet too.
I
There's
mean,
video of it now.
that would make you think that that's the person they need. They don't need. I mean, Calvin Ridley would be fine, but I don't know that he is. I'm not sold on Calvin Ridley. I mean, he had a year off.
Yeah.
He played pretty well this year. He would have a major upgrade in
I
quarterback.
think Calvin Ridley would have been perfectly fine. Trevor played awful
Yeah,
last
Trevor.
year.
Trevor did not play well this last
Yeah.
year. And
So-
I'm not really sure what happened.
Yeah.
But yet, fantasy wise, he's still in the dynasty realm. He's still a top 5. Go get it.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna make me sit here and look at fantasy, and I'm gonna trade somebody
Okay.
just for fun.
Speaking of trade, why don't we do a live trade right now? Just hit the accept button.
I'm good with that, Darren.
Why is everybody looking at me?
No, I'm looking at you. I'm the one that sent you a trade.
I mean, I don't have a trade on the table with you.
I'm looking at my roster now.
I
Don't
know
have-
Sean wants his 3rd round pick back.
Well, I'm giving you. I'm just trying to get a 4th for your backup.
4th round pick for a backup.
Mhm.
What's the offer?
Yeah,
Kyle
fourth-
Trask for a 4th round pick.
Oh, have you got Baker?
He's at Baker.
So you're giving him Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
And you're getting a 4th. Why do you want draft picks?
Have you
in
seen my team?
He's in a rebuild mode.
I am in full rebuild mode. I mean, golly,
Actually,
Matt Stafford.
they're both kind of in rebuild
You
mode.
got Achan though.
I do have Achan, another trade product.
Just got out waiting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in full rebuild.
I
mode.
traded him, Josh Jacobs, for Barkley straight up. At this point, that's still an even trade. Looking at their landing spots.
Yeah. That's what I like about Dynasty is that when you go back and look at a lot of these trades, a lot of those trades go, well, I guess.
But like-
at the time, you're like, what in the God's name are we doing?
I didn't realize I had so many daggone players that were going to be free agents. Though.
So
I mean, Swift goes to Chicago.
Right.
trash.
He's probably going to be the starter there.
And he's going to be trash.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't trash last year,
Yeah, but he played for the Eagles. Now he's going to that horrid franchise in Chicago.
but they run the ball. And then Gus Edwards
Or Johnson.
going to the Chargers.
How long are you going to be in a rebuild, you think?
2 years.
He's trading away a pick.
I might get a trade offer here in just a second. So you speak of the Bears
Yep. That's our missing the mark this
missing
week.
the mark.
I think the Bears have missed the mark on the way they've handled this Justin Fields situation.
How so?
Look,
Well,
they
if
screwed it
were,
up.
They were planning on trading him. They've missed the boat on that.
I don't think they've missed the boat on trading him because the draft hasn't
They've
happened
missed
yet,
the vote on the value of it.
and that's the GM's fault.
Yeah, because I think they were asking for more than what they could get.
When he came out and said what he said, you said that about 4 episodes ago. They may have been the first or second episode that I wasn't here for the last month that we haven't been here. But you and Neil talked about that, and you said that the GM came out and didn't throw him under the bus, but just didn't pump up the value of him,
Yeah.
the importance of him.
And how can you? You're trading him so you can draft another quarterback.
You just don't say you trade him. You're just saying Justin Fields, he's a great quarterback. I mean, you just don't say he's our quarterback, but you say he's a great quarterback. We've got to get away from the injury issues. He's really working on those things. I mean, you do everything to pump him up.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that.
The only thing that I can see is the fact that maybe they're not getting rid of Justin Fields, and you've mentioned this generational offer that's on the table.
I just said that's what I read.
Look,
Well, but I've heard it more than once.
Yeah.
Right. And but nobody says what this offer is. Right.
And good for them. They should be tight-lipped until the draft is getting ready to happen. Then let it out of the bag.
To me, generational means it's not 2 or 3 coming to one. Right. I mean, it's somebody deeper.
Well, I mean, the only generational, if they're going to stick with Fields, the only generational trade they can make is to get Justin Jefferson. That's the only generational thing they can do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they could get 4 first-round draft picks or something like that, but now look at this. Here's the thing that you don't pay attention to first-round draft picks, right? You get 4 first-round draft picks. Oh, that's 4 more years of you building, right? You cannot. I think you need players.
I've told you from day one, they don't need to trade Justin Fields. They need to trust Justin Fields. I think he continues to get better and better and better. Does he need to work on himself to where he can stay healthy? Of course he does.
Yeah.
But a thumb is a freak accident. Other than that, the rest of his body was perfectly fine.
He's just not a good quarterback.
He had 4 touchdown games before all that happened. He had DJ Moore, and he was using DJ Moore. And DJ Moore had a great season.
Komet did.
They
long as
can
it-
put
as long as
somebody
it was screen
else
passes.
with him, and no,
Yes.
that's incorrect. They threw it down. And he's not Will Levis, and Will Levis threw it down the field. We're not going to have that discussion anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Will Levis proved that in the NFL. That's all he could do was just throw it down the field. He couldn't
Because he
hit
had
somebody.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Right.
Not
But
because Will Levis.
kind of had to put it in the range.
He threw
But
it into triple coverage.
He needed DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. That's all they've got.
Mhm.
If they can get
They could
more,
have used Darnell Mooney.
if they'll draft Marvin Harrison, or if they'll go out and trade for Justin Jefferson, somebody like that, Justin Fields will be fine, and they will be competitive. And now they have DeAndre Swift. And they have Roshan Johnson that I think is pretty good.
I do like Roshan
And
Johnson.
and he's right there to
The defense played well down the stretch.
listen, their defense is legit.
Once they got Montez
Montez
Sweat. So they need a little bit more work, but they've only got 5 draft picks in this draft
and
so-
2 of them are
in the first round, in the first 9 picks.
If they and I've said this before, and I haven't said it on here because I've been gone for so long. If they'll do what the Texans did, move that second pick up if you can, and just go bam bam, and it worked out for the
Caleb
Texans.
and Marvin Harrison. That's what they need to do. Or Caleb and Neighbors, or Daniels and Williams.
I mean, the NFL works with 2 tight ends. I don't know that I wouldn't take. You can't take Brock Bowers that high.
No. But you could take him at 9.
Yeah, you could.
So
I just,
Trade-
but
trade for T. Higgins and draft Brock Bowers at 9. That's what they need to do.
That's not
Or
a bad
sign
deal
Calvin
either.
Ridley.
The Bengals would be silly if they didn't take the 9 pick for Trey Higgins. T. Higgins.
we're talking miss the mark, and Wes, we've been gone for a while.
Am I missing the mark over and over?
No,
Okay.
no. But a few weeks ago, 3 old heads, you wasn't included.
Oh.
Darren joined the old head group.
Are you saying Neil's an O-head?
Yeah, he joined that a couple weeks ago when he was saying "get off my lawn" when talking about NBA basketball. But
I back him up with that.
there were 3 old heads that was talking about how Caitlin Clark wouldn't move the needle.
Oh, wrong.
Boy, were they wrong.
Wrong.
WNBA ticket sales went through the roof as
Excuse
soon
me?
as she announced.
Nobody said that.
Yes, you did. You said Caitlin Clark is not going to do much for the WNBA. That's what was said.
No, that's not what I said. No, I asked if it was a smart move for her
To go to the WNBA.
to do the
It is.
WNBA because she could make more money staying 1 more year in college.
I
It's
don't
all about the
agree.
money.
She's got a State Farm endorsement. She's got Gatorade endorsement. She's got a Nike shoe deal. She's
Well,
making money.
I mean,
either
that's
way.
good for her. I love Caitlin
She's
Clark.
making money.
And as soon as her jersey's on sale, I will buy one.
Indiana
Yeah, I
Fever.
think that you're talking about last week's show, but we didn't say she wasn't.
No, last week it was brought up again, but it was before that.
I promise you, I didn't say anything about.
I
moving
remember
the needle.
talking about it with Collier.
Neil might have
last
said
week.
she's not going to move the needle for the
It might-
WNBA.
It
So
might have been Neil.
you said that she would make $75,000.
That's her annual salary as the first pick, is what I've heard, anyways.
So will she have to do the same as a lot of these?
Yes.
A lot of anybody is.
Yeah,
she has to work out.
unless she breaks the market.
She has to play through a rookie contract.
Yes.
That part is CBA, so yeah, she will have to do that.
That's what I was saying.
But-
That was my point.
I mean, she will get. That stinks that she has to go through a rookie contract of whatever it is now, for WNBA and 2 years,
the
3 years, whatever
The
it is.
WNBA is starting to put some players in there,
But
they got to start making money, right?
I'm not going to.
he is right. I
she
mean,
will
Nike-
she will draw crowds.
between Nike and
Indiana Fever sold out season tickets.
between Nike
And
and,
they ain't even drafted her
Gatorade and whomever else she
They're
gets as endorsements,
yeah.
she'll make well over $5 million next year.
Easy.
the minute that she announced that she was leaving, Indiana Fever put their season tickets off.
She's the player for Nike if she goes with Nike. I'm
she's
sure
already signed.
Okay.
Are you
So
getting ready to say she's the female Michael Jordan?
bingo.
She really is.
Because her shoes will fly off the shelf.
I mean, the
Is-
Sabrinas are flying.
She's the greatest
Who's
female
that?
basketball player
You don't know who Sabrina
already,
is?
right?
Sabrina who?
Ionescu, the girl was from
From
Oregon.
New York.
She went to Oregon.
One of
Kobe
you
men-
said New York. One of you said Oregon.
no,
but
she
she
went
plays
to
for New
college.
York.
Yeah, she plays for the Liberty. She went to Oregon. Kobe mentored her.
Oh, I know
She
who you're talking about. I know
Yeah,
who
I know who
you're
you're
talking
talking
about. You're talking about the girl that shot
against
Against
Curry.
Steph.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know
Those
who
two
you're talking
girls can lead the NBA, the WNBA.
about. And that just shows you right there. I didn't until I pictured it. I didn't know who she was, and her shoes are still flying off the shelves. Everybody knows Caitlin.
I mean, these lines to get in to watch Iowa games is insane.
Yeah.
People are lining up
Could
3
you
hours before
imagine
tip.
what the last year's NCAA tickets were probably really good? They were probably really pleased with their NCAA. Could you imagine
First
what the
year they made
price
money.
of NCAA tickets are going to be to watch first round, second round,
So
and
are-
regional of
Do
Caitlin
we
Clark?
think that she can start making the money for the WNBA?
Oh, 100%. She's selling out arenas.
Yeah.
100%. Like this article right here.
I mean, apparently me and Coach Collier are going to watch her play in Indiana. I mean,
Right.
he basically said that on the show last week.
it's going
Let's
to
go, he said.
Road shows on the road.
I mean, when she pulls up from the logo and she's just splashing them,
You know it's going in.
Yeah.
Now, the other day, Sunday, in the Big Ten Championship, they were not going in. And I was like, uh-oh.
until the second half.
Not even in. Overtime. Like, it was like last 4 minutes of the game. She finally started
Well, I
hitting.
thought she scored 4 points in the first half,
Yeah.
and
Ended with
and
30.
the rest of the time she scored 30.
Yeah.
Nebraska got the big head on that one. You could see them dancing on the sideline when they were up big, and
They should have. I turned the game off for a little bit. I was like, this game's over.
Yeah.
But again, she did 2 of those from the logo.
Can she win the national championship?
Nope.
No,
South Carolina.
no.
And that's impressive for South Carolina because they lost 7 players off of last year's team, and she just reloaded and still undefeated.
I mean, she's got 2 freshmen that play
Yep.
a lot, and
Yeah.
they're better than.
But now they beat South Carolina last year.
South Carolina lost 7 players off their bench just the other day.
Yeah.
Well,
I was watching that game. That was
ridiculous.
Yeah.
If that is 2 men teams out there, nobody's ejected. And
Well-
that's 100% true. Because
Well,
as much as that escalated, it didn't escalate a lot. When the fan jumped the scores table,
That was her brother.
it was a cousin. They
Her
said
cousin.
they said brother at first. Come find out it was a cousin.
the girl that pushed her. If that was in the men's game, that person would have been ejected. That would have been a flagrant too.
I don't even think they get ejected. I really don't.
But the rest of the bench, look, emotions run higher. This is not. I'm not saying this is.
This is going to be good.
Emotions run higher
Here's clip
in
number
the
2.
in the women's game. It just does.
It does. You're right.
I mean, they get. We've talked about that with our
Well,
high school team. When they show emotion, they show emotion.
And Kim Mulkey and
Yeah,
and what's her face?
Don Staley.
don't
I
like
mean, you
each other.
talking
do
about
not like
the
each
most emotional of coaches. Right there, they are. That's them, and they're playing the SEC championship game. Emotions run high, so
If-
all those girls are fighting for one another. And when you come off that, I wasn't a fan of everyone on the bench being gone, and then they said, "Oh, wait a minute, South Carolina's got one sub because she was just checking in." You know, she was usually,
So what would have happened if somebody else would have fouled out?
you
you
can
can
finish
forward it. You can
finish the
play.
forward
You can play all the way down
to 3.
to 3.
You can't start with 3 or 4, but you can finish with that.
Gotcha.
many. But yeah, it was nuts. And the only reason Angel Reese got to
Closing
stay
in
in,
on 2 hours, ain't we?
Well, because we're so close in the between shows, this is still going. It's 2:47.
Yeah. So
I mean, Angel Reese, she only got to stay in because she was getting treatment. She wasn't part of any of the
Yeah,
scrum. She was getting
saw it
treatment on
happen.
the head.
Yeah, there's video clip of her, like, she was holding her hamstring. She looks up and looks and goes, and just turns around and walks to the end of the bench.
yeah,
Like, oh,
Smart.
Lord.
Smart.
yeah, absolutely.
I will add on to your missing the mark. One that I read about last week. Switching back to baseball since baseball's getting ready to start. The fact that the Marlins have signed nothing but minor league contracts in the offseason all the way up till late last week. After making the playoffs,
Is Derek Jeter gone from the GM role now?
yes, they got the GM from the Rays who has not added any players on the field, but he's almost doubled the office staff.
I don't know that I could question the GM from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Nope. I have said on here many a time.
That's
I
kind
wish
of like
the Reds.
that's questioning Theo Epstein.
I wish the Reds would move towards the way the Rays put a product on the field, and it looks like that they've started doing that somewhat. So I'm not questioning him.
Yeah.
And
All
in
right.
doing that, though, but I get what you're saying, but you just had your best season in 20 years, and you add no new talent to the field.
For a low major. What am I trying to say here? They're not the Yankees. They're not the Red Sox. They're not the Dodgers. They're in the Rays basket. And if they are,
They're one of the
if they-
poorer teams.
yeah,
They're-
right. And they're going to. I mean, they don't draw like a lot of teams. I mean, they don't draw like the Reds do. But if they're going to make something of it, I think that's the way you have to go. You have to go get younger talent and then just build.
Yep.
And the Rays GM has shown that over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
And some people try to do it, and they're terrible at it,
Like the Reds.
like the Reds had been. Nick Kroll, is it Nick Kroll? Is their GM?
I don't know.
I think it's Nick Kroll is the Reds GM. He's figured it out. We got 10 minutes, 8 minutes.
Dog of the week, our 2-2 Sweet Treats Dog of the Week, Luka Doncic.
I mean,
6 straight 30-point triple doubles, first time in NBA history.
That's
Pretty impressive.
nuts.
I don't like the NBA. That's impressive
Yeah.
because he's playing the way that NBA teams play in the playoffs. He's playing like that right now.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's pretty
Look,
impressive.
I've told you all, after the All-Star break, it gets really good.
It does. After the All-Star break, it does get better.
Especially on the West side, because from, I think it's the 5 seed down to 10, they're only separated by like a game and a half.
I mean, case in point, the Celtics played the Suns the other night. The Suns got 5.5 points. I bet the Suns, because I had seen a lot of chatter from all their players saying, get ready, we coming. You know, because they knew they have to pick up their game to be able to get where they want to be in matchup wise in the playoffs. And the Celtics have been amazing all year long, but they played, you know, and the Celtics still beat them by 10.
Booker didn't play.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Booker didn't play.
Celtics are pretty good.
The Celtics are.
They have to be the favorite to win it right now.
No, still the Nuggets.
I think the Celtics are going to beat the Nuggets this year if that's the way it ends up.
I don't think so. No,
If I had to bet money right now, I would bet the Celtics.
Boston doesn't have anybody that can
Although-
match up with Joker.
Although Joker went out and started playing his playoff ball the other night too.
Yes, he did.
He was 4 assists away or 4 blocks away from a quad.
Quad double.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Louisville run my parlay tonight.
Well, I mean, why you betting Louisville?
I bet the under.
Oh,
they were playing NC State, and I was like, well, NC State can score, but no way, Louisville can score. 94-85.
Crazy. All right,
Is that a
guys.
wrap, Jack?
It's a wrap. It's another great episode of the From Corner to Corner podcast.
It's been good to be back.
Call to action tonight.
Call to action.
If you haven't already, go to your podcast platform that you listen to us on podcast-wise. Give us a 5-star rating and say some nice words. about us.
It's not we the ones. We need 5s.
Yeah, we need 5s. Catch you guys next week.
Stay safe, friends.